Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a comparison video for you guys using two eyeshadow palettes from the Anastasia Beverley Hills cosmetic line. I'm going to be using the Modern Renaissance and the Subculture palette. I'm going to be creating two eyeshadow looks using this palette, so that way you guys can actually appreciate the quality of each of these two palettes, how they're actually applying to your eyelid. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I hear a lot of people saying that the Modern Renaissance is just as powdery as the Subculture palette, which is true. But what I wanted to show you is that they differ in quality. The Modern Renaissance, even though it's powdery, it applies very nicely into your eyelid and you can actually blend the colors among each other. Whereas with the Subculture, you cannot do that. You know, you have a very hard time actually applying the eyeshadow into your lid and having it stick there and not blending away when you actually are trying to blend it in with other colors. So that's what I wanted to show you in regarding to this palette. Now, before I begin with this tutorial on using these two palettes so that way you guys can see how they apply, I wanted to let you know that I went ahead and figured out a way to actually use this palette, the Subculture palette, because I love the colors, and I figured out a technique to actually how to make it work and be able to, for you guys to actually keep your palette and use it. Okay, so if you want to actually find out exactly how I apply or work with this palette, then go ahead into my channel and check out the video that I'll be uploading soon after this video on how I actually figure out how to use this palette. It took me a while, but I figured it out because I was not about to give up on this palette since I like the colors, and it was just a hassle just to return it back since I order online. So I didn't want it to end up going through that, so I sat down and I said I have to figure out a way how to use this palette. I mean, I'm used to gonna have kind of trouble, but not as much as before. Okay, so now let's go ahead and begin using these two eyeshadow palettes so that way you guys can actually see the difference between them two and see that they are not alike. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use the Subculture palette so I can go ahead and create that eyeshadow look here. And I'm going to go in with my J5522 from Hakihoro. I'm going to go ahead and grab this Roxy here. There you go. And always when you use this palette, you just want to go ahead and just barely touch it. You don't want to really put in your brush very hard on it, because otherwise, you know, you're going to get all that powder. So there you go. And now I'm going to go ahead and apply into my eyelid. This one, mainly when you go ahead and apply into your eyelid, you cannot really tell whether or not, you know, it's being applied pouchy because it's very light. So let me go ahead and see where my camera can focus. Let me actually try to zoom in. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and grab All Star here, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in my crease as well. Again, just dab a little bit. And now let me go ahead and zoom back in. I don't know if you guys can tell there, where you see all this patchiness here, and that's the problem with this palette. You see this? This is the problem. Okay, gonna try to blend as much. This is the way how I'm applying this eyeshadow, is the way how everyone will apply this eyeshadow, any regular person, and therefore it makes this palette very difficult to work with. But I'll be showing you in the other video that I'll be uploading soon the technique that I discovered, so you won't have this problem when you actually use this palette. There you go. And I'm really blending in very soft, smoothly. Alright, but you see all that. You see all this patchiness. It's not well blended. Okay, so as you can see, this All Star didn't blend it very nicely into the eyelid. You can see some lines here in my lid and some patchiness areas. So that is the problem with this subculture, that you do have a lot of issues when trying to blend in the eyeshadows into your eyelid, whereas with the Modern Renaissance you won't have this kind of problem. Okay, so let me try to blend as much as I can. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead with the flat brush. I'm going to go ahead and grab Access from this palette, and I'm going to go ahead and apply it into my lid. Okay, I just dab a little bit. Let me take the excess off, and I'm going to go ahead and apply it here in the center of my lid. And as you can see, this eyeshadow is very pigmented, but yet it's not that easy to apply when you apply it into your eyelid. So I'm gonna go back in, grab a little bit more, dab the excess, and just pat. I don't know if you can tell there. See? That's what I mean about these eyeshadows. But unfortunately, you do have problems on trying to apply it into your eyelid and blending them, as you can see. Okay, so this is how the Subculture eyeshadows went into my eyelid, and as you can tell by the video, I did have some problems trying to apply these eyeshadows into my lid and making them blend, but overall, you know, I was able to manage them and actually have them apply into my eyelid, even though I still consider that the All Star eyeshadow looks kind of muddy and messy into my eyelid. But I'm gonna go ahead now and apply the Modern Renaissance, so that way you guys can see that I wanna have as much issue as I had with the Subculture and using and applying those eyeshadows into my eyelid. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab my Modern Renaissance palette, and I'm going to apply this color here, the Real Gar, I believe I'm pronouncing it right. And I'm going to just dab the brush a little bit, but as you can see, there's powder being picked up, right? You see a lot of kickback. So now let me go ahead and apply this into my crease of my eye. Let me zoom in and apply into the lid. There you go. As you can see, this eyeshadows from the Modern Renaissance, they apply very nicely and easily into your eyelid. You really don't have a hard time blending in the eyeshadow. So now, to be fair for the Subculture, I'm going to go ahead and grab another darker eyeshadow and put it also in the crease of my eye, so that way you guys can actually see, you know, the difference between them two. So now I'm going to go ahead and grab this Love Letter eyeshadow here. I'm gonna dab. You see I dab, and it's a little bit powdery, but not as much. Take out the excess. Go back into my crease. Let me zoom in. Okay, so here is the Love Letter applied into my crease. As you can tell, it looks very nice, blend in nice, and smooth into my eye. It makes it look very clean as compared to this one, which looks kind of muddy, right? This one looks more clean here, as you can see. It looks more blend in. So now I'm going to go in and grab another eyeshadow from this Modern Renaissance palette. I'm going to go ahead and grab, let me see, Cypress Umber. I'm going to go ahead and grab this one here, Cypress Umber here, and I'm going to apply into my lid. Ooh, this one is very powdery. I barely touch it and it got a lot of powder. Okay, let me zoom in so you guys can see. And I'm going to go in and blend again the edges here in the crease, just so everything blends in. Okay, so I'm done using both of the palettes into my eyes, and as you can tell, I had more problem using the Subculture palette into my right eye than I did with the Mother Renaissance into my left. And I hope you can actually appreciate that there is a quality differences between these two palettes here. You know that they're not the same as people claim they are, just because this one is just as powdery as the Subculture. No, in quality they differ. Both of them, they don't have the same ingredients. They were not made as the same formula. So yes, there's a difference in regarding to quality. So you're not gonna have issues as you have with Subculture when you're trying to use this palette to create an eyeshadow look. I'm gonna try to zoom in so you guys can actually tell the difference in regarding to the eyeshadow, how it actually looks into my eyes now that I have actually blended them into my eye. There you go. Okay, so now that I have zoomed in here my eyes, hopefully my camera can make justice to both of the palettes and you guys can actually see. Let me see if I can actually get a little bit closer to my camera. If you see here in the Mother Renaissance, the colors and everything looks very nice, blend in. You know, there seems not to be any patchiness there. Everything looks nice and smooth. But here, and using the Subculture palette, you can see that this looks kind of dirty. It looks kind of patchy here on the side. I don't know if you guys can tell. Alright, and then at the same time when you touch it, I just touch it right now like this, and you can see that my eyeshadow actually like kind of broke. Now if I actually extend my lid here to the right, you'll be able to see all these cracks that my lid has, and how the eyeshadow didn't even blend in those areas. Okay, so in here you see none of that. Okay, everything looks nice and you know, blend in. Okay, so everything is nice and covered. So obviously there's an issue with the Subculture palette, and you have to find a technique to actually apply, you know, this eyeshadow into your eyelids, so that way you can make use of it. There's a difference between the two palettes. They're not the same. Just because both of them are powdery doesn't mean, you know, that they're equal in quality. So I just wanted to go ahead and point out that, and you know, make this video for that purpose. So those people who say that the Mother Renaissance is just like the Subculture, no, they're not the same in quality. They might be the same in packaging. Yes, the purpose probably of them to be sister of one another. Yes, it might be the same, but in regarding to quality, they differ. The Mother Renaissance is way better. It has good quality, it's very blendable. You know, the colors work together in comparison to this one. Now this one is, I'm not saying that it's complete trash. You can still use this one, but you have to find tricks or techniques in how to actually use this one. And for that, like I said earlier in my video, I will upload a video on the techniques that I went ahead and discover how to actually use this palette. So if you want to go ahead and know exactly how to make use of this palette without having to return it back to the store or throwing it away or giving it away, because you love the colors just as much as like I do, and you want to really keep this palette and you really want to use it, then go ahead and look for that video in my channel. But hopefully this video was useful to you ladies and you actually like it. And if you actually like it and if it was helpful, then go ahead and give me a little thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe like always. And I'll be seeing you into my next video doing another tutorial with this palette. All right, till then, bye bye.